Welcome to Fresh Catholic, a podcast for those who are converting, reverting, or simply want a fresh perspective of the Catholic faith to help them to open their hearts and minds to become closer to the love and goodness of Christ. My daily prayer is that I will be a bright light to others, to be filled with the love and light of Christ, so that when people look at me, they see Him radiating out from me for His glory. Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Balderas, and I'm so happy you're here. Well, I'm not alone this week. I have a very special guest. This is my filmmaker guest, Angelo Libutti.
Correct.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Libutti. I got it. Oh my gosh, the stress of it all. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Now, my special guest is very, very Italian, which I love. I know my beloved Poppy in heaven is smiling down on me right now, having this amazing guest sitting here. But that being said, you have a very thick accent.
I do.
Okay, so we love that.
Yeah.
But if some of you, I know I have a lot of listeners who might have a little struggle, so be patient, and this is how you're going to learn to decipher an accent. Yeah. I think it's beautiful. And I have to say, you remind me of John Travolta. Has anybody told you that?
Sometimes, yeah.
It doesn't hurt looking at those beautiful blue eyes.
When I used to be younger with more longer hair, yes.
Well, and now he doesn't have hair anyway. So for those of you who aren't watching YouTube, too bad, because you're missing out. Go to YouTube and check it out. So I appreciate you coming today. And we have a goal because Angelo has a movie that he's making that's really quite extraordinary. And I think it's very different, and we're going to talk all about that in a moment. But what we will be discussing today is Angelo's project that he's working on, and also finding out about doing a faith-based film versus, Hollywood mainstream films. We know how I feel about that. But maybe you don't, go back and listen to some of my episodes and you'll hear, but we're here to try to cause awareness for your film because it's in need of some further funding. And so we're here to talk about it. So it'll get you so excited that you're going to want to donate. And I have a really thrilling thing that I didn't anticipate, but at the end of this episode, we have a trailer for you to watch for Angelo's film. How exciting is that?
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. So don't give up at the end when I say see you, thank you, love you, bye. Don't stop the thing. Check out the trailer because you won't want to miss it. It's very exciting. I just watched it and I thought it was really, really inspiring. So let's talk just very briefly about your family background so people know, are you Catholic? Are you a cradle Catholic? Are you a convert? What are you? Because my listeners want to know that about you.
So I was born super Catholic family.
Super Catholic. I like that.
Yeah. For my father's side, they were really close to San Padre Pio. My cousin, which was from my father's side, was my godfather and Padre Pio personal assistant for 25 years.
Wow.
To that, so he was the one cleaning his wounds. He was the guy that, they celebrated the Mass. There are a few pictures I can show you guys eventually too. So beautiful stories. I heard all from him, stories we never heard before. We already writing a script about it with some really big producers. After this film, we are going to make it a movie. Definitely, from my side, from my mother's side, they were closer to Saint Genoveffa, which was another saint that she was stigmata, had the stigmata on her head too. So everywhere were statues about Mary, Jesus, and stuff. So we definitely grew up in.
Very devout Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I was going to say, when you were telling us about your godfather.
Yeah.
Being so close to St. Padre Pio, I was thinking, well, there's a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that you're going to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There are so many stories nobody heard before.
Right.
And that they describe who Padre Pio was really behind the curtains. I mean,
Right. Well, I know Simon Balderas, my husband and producer, is a big fan of St. Padre Pio.
we might collaborating together.
Maybe. Oh my gosh. Would if. That would be amazing. You never know what God has planned for us.
Yeah,
Well, and I reached out to you because one of our parishioners at our church, Our Lady of the Assumption Church in Ventura, I have a friend named Heather, and she's one of your extras.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen her in a long time, and she's so lovely and beautiful, and I love inside and out. She glows beauty inside and out. And I saw her, and she was asking what's new. And long story short, it came up, she said, "Oh, I have somebody you need to interview." And I'm like, "Who is it?" And I think I contacted you that day.
Yes.
Or we got in touch that day. So, I mean, when God wants something to happen, like I always say, it happens. Sometimes we wait years for something and others.
You better know, otherwise he's going to push you down.
I know, that's great. Anyway, so what got you started in the film industry?
I was one of those kids back when I was a child that at 8 years old, I was already be able to do perfect postures when people were still doing just a stick man down there. And one day when I watched Cinderella, it was a beautiful scene about this little mouse helping her to achieve their goal. And there was a beautiful friendship and stuff. I mean, what they went through troubles. And that touched me. And I say, I want to telling stories too, and I want to do something good. Some people have good values, friendship. For me, as an Italian, friendship is everything. I mean, it's like it's almost same level as your own brothers. I mean, sometimes I call my friends brothers because I see them like real brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what pushed me to think about film. I bought every books about Walt Disney, studying, dissecting his life, business life, everything. Little kid with a dream to come to America, zero English. So that's pushed me to slowly but slowly to learning, growing, and then I came here in the United States, studying university, college for film, and then all here.
Beautiful. And I know you do storyboards. You're a beautiful artist.
Thank you.
So that's what you're saying. Like you realized, you had this gift that I believe that people have a gift at a young age like that in artistry, or like you and Simon, you could tell you were filmmakers early on. It's something that's in your system. And then how do you get that out? How, do you get encouraged to have it? So I think it's beautiful when somebody early on knows what a calling is and they act on it. Yeah. Because that's what Simon and I believe too, is that to put beauty out into the world, whatever God's gift was for you, to put it out in the world to help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. It's and it was such a huge difference for the others that you can deny. I mean, so I'm finally now be able to do something for God.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely was something that came so easy for me that I couldn't really sometimes appreciate it. I mean, because people say, "How you draw well?" I say, "What are you talking about? Everybody can do." It's almost like when San Padre Pio, funny story about San Padre Pio, when people told him that, I mean, really, you talk to Jesus? And he said, "Yeah, why you don't?" He's so Mary, St. Francis, as often as when you see your husband. And I mean, for him it was normal. And,
right.
For me too, I mean, drawing and understanding art, composition, all this was something I picked it up.
Right.
The way, yeah.
We'll be right back.
My name is Father David, and I'm a Franciscan friar, and every week, me and my guests dive into some of the most pressing issues of our time: church and state, immigration, LGBTQ+, economic inequality, anxiety, depression, climate change, and so much more. Join us in these conversations. Friar Time isn't just another podcast, it's where faith meets real life head on. You can find all the links to our podcast channels in your show notes.
Right. Beautiful. So originally, when you came to America and you started in the film industry, did you immediately go to faith-based films, or did you start off with more the mainstream commercial things and then switch?
Yeah, definitely. I was dreaming about do stuff for Disney because that's what I studied. I think without knowing all the bad things that people know about the Disney and the past and stuff about. I just saw, when you blind, sometimes with the atheist, they just want to see what they want to see. They don't see what they should see. So same things was with me. I just love cartoon, and like a Cinderella, I want to do something good. And back then, there was good moral things for
Disney,
family,
right?
the family,
Right.
cartoons. They have some good morals. It changed so much dramatically in these past years. Which family doesn't important is not more important. Friendship is important. Values that are not more important. And stage, because one thing that fascinated about Walt Disney was he was going often to see the Statue of the Liberty, and people asked him why, and he said one time, so he works was the guy actually designed Mickey Mouse, Oswald first, then Mickey Mouse. He said to him, because I want to do not what I like, but what American people needs and likes. So that's it. It teaches me two different things. You can be a Van Gogh, that you do what you want, and hundreds years after you can discover, or maybe never. Many artists after wars got lost all their painting stuff. Or you can sincerely do what the audience needs and want, not what you think they needs. That's another mistake I think we see today in Hollywood. Try to push in personal agendas. But doing what they need. And and we know that everybody needs God.
That's right. Whether they know it or not, we know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know because it's always been that the change was when Hollywood and media decided to suppress that one because it was not playing anymore in their advantage.
Right.
The less family values somebody have, the less easy it is to plasmate, to morph that person the way you want it.
Right.
But we being created in the image and likeness of Christ and God. So it's they try. But it seems there is a huge the new world now. There's lots of people like you guys step up for it. And take your time to do these things. Yeah.
Right. So you were doing some mainstream things, and then what shifted for you to say, I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather do faith-based Catholic content.
Yeah, I started receiving some really bad script that were going absolutely against my values, my faith. And I know I was the kid to say, I want to do these films in this way. I can teach values. I can take good values for friendship, love, charity. And now these people that make me do the opposite, I can't even show to my daughter.
Yes.
To my cousin, my little cousin, a little nephew, Giulio, now is big. But he watched, one time my mother called me and said, Angelo, I hate you. I said, oh, why? What happened? I said, Giulio, we cannot stop watching Alvin Chipmunks over and over and over and over. I learned every single word. I said, I'm sorry, I tried. But that was cute. It's a nice little movie, like a good little values and stuff. But now I cannot do that anymore. When I receive some script, and one was from, actually to direct a film for DreamWorks that was all about witchcraft. And they bragged about the fact that the script, all the word, the magic things was perfectly from a master of witchcraft. And then witchcraft, they say that, it comes from Catholicism. As I say, I don't think you got the things right and memorized. That's absolutely the opposite.
Right.
And so I had to renounce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the big event with, we cannot, I don't know if you can say what happened in a couple of past years with the vaccinations and stuff. And things.
Go ahead and say. I think you say whatever you want to say.
COVID, end up to close down all the churches. I saw somebody extremely dear to me, way more dear to me, that stopped to go mass, stopped to play the rosary together with me, and suddenly totally went apart. And it's so sad that, sometimes they say, oh, you pray the rosary too fast. I said, well, Padre Pio was praying 50 rosary a day. How fast do you think he was going?
Oh, my goodness.
So that was, the time is had to say, okay, it's insane that Jesus Christ became man, fight with his the most loved angel, which now becomes Satan, because he became man, and because he became man through a woman, Mary. Again, Catholics love women. We praise Mary, but we don't idolize her. Because she was the Ark of the Covenant. Some people they don't know, but there's a beauty about that one. Is like if God treasured the Ark of the Covenant, which was made just for wood, and nobody could touch it or even pass through the white blank garment that was to be able to go inside. Imagine how it would treasure the mother of his only child.
Right.
It just make you cry even just to think about that. So anyway, so we back, and so we start to say, okay, and then Christ is not just become man. On John 6, which I'm going to show you guys after that we finished to do a first draft pass with John 6, we show some priests they were astonished. Purely Catholic, this movie is 100% from the Douay-Rheims Bible, every words, and where the gap was missing is from the Catena Aurea of St. Thomas Aquinas. Some people don't know, but Catena Aurea was inspired for the fact that St. Peter and St. Paul appeared to St. Thomas Aquinas and explained so many Bible passages that most people don't know about it. So I said, it's okay. So Christ became man. Christ was, and John 6 was willing to lose everybody that followed him, the whole ministry, 3 years of ministry, the risk to be killed for this specific teaching about the Eucharist.
And hold that thought. I want to hear more, but we have to take a quick break. Okay. We'll be right back. Have you ever wanted to witness the miraculous and walk where saints have walked? This is your chance. Join me, Lori Balderas, host of Fresh Catholic Podcast, and Father Matthew Miguel, as we walk with you through Italy's most sacred sites. From the Eucharistic miracles of Lanciano and Orvieto to the peace of Assisi, your heart will be transformed by these extraordinary moments of grace. You'll walk the hallowed streets of Rome, step into the history of the Vatican, and witness the places where faith has flourished for centuries. Each stop deepens your journey. Each miracle renews your soul. We invite you to join us on an unforgettable, life-changing experience.
Join us and let your faith come alive in Italy.
Have you been to freshcatholic.com yet? Our website? Oh my goodness, if you haven't, make sure you go there right after I'm done here. I want to tell you about everything we have going on there. We have the podcast is there if you can't find it anywhere else. We also have a blog, Fresh Catholic Comics. We have an online store with faith-based merchandise. It's all very exclusive to Fresh Catholic. We also have coffee that we're selling. Coffee, can you imagine? Fresh Catholic coffee, 17 flavors. It's roasted and shipped on the same day. You can save some for yourself, give it as a gift. It helps us out with our mission. We also have educator Charles Merritt is doing a whole series of things on our website. So he did a series on sin, one on angels, one on the Our Father, one on the Hail Mary. And he's coming up with new ideas all the time. And he also is doing a Bible study. Right now, he's studying the Gospel of Mark. You don't want to miss it. So if you're behind on all those things, they're there for you to see and share with your friends. So check it out. And we're back. Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Continue on, please.
Okay. So Jesus, he repeated like, truly, truly. In Aramaic, when you say truly, truly, is no, like he said, this is really what I meant. I mean, and you can see on our film where people, they just had the miracles the day before for the loaves and fish, or people that have a miracle because they were able to walk or see or any other deformity. Those same people, when Jesus said, this is my body, this is my flesh, there is no life new. 50,000 men left. But you multiply it, if there was a man, back then, man was married and they had probably 5 or 6 children minimum. Some are probably 12 children. So we are talking about really a massive number of people. They follow Christ and they're all left. Everybody left.
Well, it was a shocking thing he said.
Yeah.
Because he meant it and they were thinking, wait a second, this isn't what we signed up for.
Yeah.
It was jarring to them.
Yeah.
They didn't quite know what to make of him anyway. And then he comes up with this and,
Yeah.
it sounds crazy.
Yeah. And now he's not just stopped there. He decided to humble himself with just a piece of bread, so-called piece of bread, to be present in every adoration, to every mass, to every church in the world. So when that I saw that was being taken away from the event that happened back then, I said, okay, somebody got to do something. And somebody got to step up. And I said, in 2,000 years, nobody ever done any full Bible reenactment of every Bible passage that cover the Eucharist. Think about it too. I mean, the most famous show now, there's no feature film that have done it. No, even the Jesus of Nazareth, which was a beautiful film, done with Zeffirelli, nobody's done it. Even The Chosen, I think, really they removed those Bible passages intentionally because that's what sadly keeps us apart from all the Protestants.
Right, and The Chosen is a Protestant-made film. It's not a Catholic. I mean, we're now caught up. We were behind. Everybody else was watching it. We weren't. We just finished up, to the last of the season, and I like it.
Yeah.
But it's one reason because I'm a convert.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons that I didn't get enough out of being a Protestant. I needed to become a Catholic because I need the richness. And so to me, it's beautiful, but it's lacking.
Yeah.
It's lacking that extra, what I consider richness and belief.
Yeah, the 2,000 years of theology and tradition that in the Bible say that the pillar is the tradition, not the Bible. And I love, the Jonathan Rumi is a dear friend of mine. I love him for that. And I know that they do have some consultation with some priests or bishops, but they're not that influential to have to say, no, this need to be done.
Right.
That's why we're doing this film just us without any ownership of nobody else, because we want to just show perfectly word by word from the Bible, the beginning to the end, how it is. And then leave to any Protestant, to any atheist, to watch it and get the most out of it.
So Simon and I watched the trailer that we're going to show at the end of this episode. Don't forget, I'm going to keep reminding you guys, just in case you tuned in late or something or skipped over the intro. We are going to be showing the trailer for your movie, The New Manna, which is very exciting, at the end of this episode. So don't duck out at the end. But we did watch it, and I have some things I want to say about it. But I would like for you to give a what's the word, synopsis, an overall view of what this film is, because I think it's different than what's out there now or has been out there. Yes. I think the way that you're presenting this film is very unique. So can you please tell my listeners so they know what this film is about? Yeah, so I think that if anybody saw a really good movie, it's called The Case for Christ, basically a true story for Jim Strobel. It's I like the structure of the things because it's a journey of a non-believer that is faced to having a podcast like you after renouncing to his life with Hollywood, and decide to make it this podcast, but he's going through some economical financial problem, and he said, okay, I'm going to challenge the most well-known Catholic priest, and the challenge is being taken, and it's about the Eucharist. They're going to talk about the Eucharist stuff. So now he needs to do research to be able to defeat this priest, which we hope and pray that Father Mike Smith is going to join us. So the journey starts, and we walk hand by hand as a non-believer. We'll see and learn about the Eucharist. This film is not for me that I'm Catholic. It's not for you that you believe in it. It's for sure it's going to help you to give so many beautiful insights, because we spoke with the most top theologians, Father Rippinger, Scott Hanna, the Cardinal Serra, Cardinals and Cardinals. So we had lots of theological great points, but it's done with the heart of somebody that we love dear to us, and we will love them to be saved. So we try to put in a slow time, their pace, all this information so they can be digested and not forced with a spoon. Right. And one thing that I think is different about it, and I think it's very important, and I'm going to tell you more in a minute. I got to go to a quick break. Sorry. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in today. We really appreciate you being a loyal listener. I want to remind you that in addition to our weekly topic episodes, I also do Fresh Catholic Daily, the daily Mass readings. They're nice and short, 5 to 7 minutes, perfect for your drive to work or school, or while you're cooking, cleaning, on a walk. So tune into those, get your daily dose of Jesus. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, and I do little short videos every day. So tune into those, tell all your friends, subscribe, please, rate and review. We really would appreciate it. I'm just trying to draw people to the Catholic faith or back to the Catholic faith. Help me to do that, won't you? And we're back. So what I think is really interesting about the way that you have this formatted, this film, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I have it. So this is from a point of view, like you're saying, of somebody who's cynical, so a non-believer. Yeah. And they come in and they're questioning everything. So while you're showing that process of the person saying, prove it, in other words, yes, prove it. As they're proving it, you are showing and incorporating the stories in the Bible, yeah, that are a very visual. I'm a very visual person. So I need to see those stories so that when I hear them read or I hear them said, I'm envisioning what you've created. I say this all the time, the Passion of the Christ. Until I watch that movie, and I force myself to watch it every year because to me it's the most traumatizing, beautiful movie. Traumatizing and beautiful at the same time. Every day at Mass, that's what I'm envisioning. I need that visual to make it mean more. So what you're doing is you're going back and forth from the modern day story of this cynic, this non-believer trying to prove it, or wanting everybody to prove it, and you're referring back to these stories so that it's giving, like, showing it happening.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost a parallel line.
Yes.
We have one side, the protagonist, non-believer, and the other side, the side protagonist, which is the apostles, that sometimes they struggle. And as we know, all of them deny except John, the beloved John. So that is going to be a nice, when, for example, the theologian, Scott Henn, is going to speaking about explaining to this main character,
the non-believer.
We're going to fading and flying and see perfectly the Bible reenactment. So it's going to be it's live action. It's not documentary. It's full live action. It's just going to be, you're going to see everything from the beginning, from when Jesus started leading in the boat to looking for a deserted place. The struggle of John the Baptist be killed. And how he dealing with, so you see this beautiful flashback and stuff. I mean, I'm going to show you guys after.
Yeah.
And then he walked to the deserted places. He do that multiplication of love and fish miracle. And then from there, the apostles go back to their boat. Jesus go to pray. The apostles travel on the boat. It is one of the most beautiful scenes you're never going to be able to see ever and ever. Nobody can done, at least so far. The Jesus walking on water. We filmed it to the same place where many people filmed. They filmed with the wave 5 and 6. We filmed wave with 10-foot tall waves. So it's this amazing action. I mean, it's like this. I want to incorporate this incredible action because people, again, we do this one for the people, not for me, for us. And people are so used to having so much action, live action film, video games, and making any movie, mostly Christian-based film, with not so much action means you are a way to understanding who the audience is. So they're not going to finish to watch. But if you add the action, if you get that one, you keep it them entertained. I mean, it's not what that. That's why everybody loves the movie Gladiator. Are you entertained? If you don't do that, it becomes this flat, boring for them. For some people, it can be fascinating, but it's not going to be entertaining to who is the audience we are going to help.
Right. And I do think that, Simon and I watch a great deal of, faith-based movies. Some are better than others. And we're always saying that we wish there was more content like that out there. And especially the Catholic version of things, I think, I'm very interested in. But most of the time they're not done super well, I don't think. And they do need to be compelling. These are stories that are true stories. They're historical stories. Now, people have chosen not to believe them, but they actually happened, and they're quite intense. That's why true history is so much more entertaining than what people, create sometimes. It's like, especially in this day and age, things are just I'm sorry, it's getting real bad out there. There's so many sequels. There's 100. I even told you on our first phone call, we don't need another Marvel movie.
Yeah.
We just don't. Yeah. And I think that this is something that people, not just us, I think, I say all the time, I just think we need more Catholic content, more faith-based content that's of high quality. Yeah. And I think people want it. Yeah. I think people are needing it, wanting it. I think the way that you're doing this film, what I think about it is it's going to pull somebody in because they're going to be interested in the scientific part, because they're going to want to prove you wrong. They're going to want to say, see, you were wrong. Yeah. It's all made up. It's a hoax. Yes. It's a big hoax that everybody 2,000 years ago jumped on board with. We know that's not true. Yeah. But everybody needs proof these days. Yeah. And we believe it because we have faith. Yeah. And we believe it because we know it to be true. Yeah. I don't question it. I feel sad for people that don't believe in things. But I do think that when they hear these facts, I suppose they could still say, I don't believe it. I don't care. But they're losing. And like you said, this is what I believe. My goal is I want everybody to be Catholic. Yeah. I want everybody to turn to Jesus. Yeah. That's my goal in life. That's what I think about all day, every day. Yeah. I think, how can I, with my gifts that God has given me, or my voice, or my husband's talent of getting this podcast out, how can I draw people to the Lord? Yeah. And I think that's what you're saying too. And even if it's a cynic, my dad, my beloved father who passed away, he was raised Catholic, but he turned away from the Catholic Church. And when I wanted to become Catholic at age 49, I went to him afraid because I thought he'd tell me no. Because I'm the only Catholic in my entire family. Wow. Okay. So I went to him and I said, Papi, I would like to become Catholic. And I waited, thinking I would get it. And he said, I think that will be the best religion for you. And I said, really? He gave me his total blessing. I got all of his artifacts. And it was this beautiful thing. But he's a scientist. He was a science teacher. Okay. And so he kind of had that back and forth. And one of the things that he said to me one time is, Lori, I can't dispute your faith. I can't and I won't dispute your faith. Because he knew what the deal was. So I think sometimes people need the proof, and then it's up to the Lord to work through these people. We have to pray for their conversion of heart. Like you said, present this to them. They can watch it. And like in the trailer that we were looking at, and the one of your extras became a nun. Yeah. Okay, so she's saying she's watching the crucifixion scene and it did something in her. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the Lord picking that moment, picking your film, picking the process of being in your film. He took that opportunity and look what it did. Yeah. If for no other reason, if your film doesn't make it in any way, it will. Yeah. But even if it didn't, you got somebody, your film, being a part of your film, got somebody to be a nun. Yeah. That's a win for the Lord.
And who knows, that nun, sometimes we don't see things the way Christ see it. But imagine if that nun is going to be next Saint Faustina. Mm-hmm. And the repercussions Saint Faustina had to all world. You can go to any Catholic church around the world and you will find the painting of Jesus with a red and white beam. Right. It's there, I saw it.
We have it all.
It's remarkable. Sometimes, we think that our little things are changing. That's why I'm really begging that the audience and anybody, even the people they know, the audience and not the other, to support this film, because we are not taking, all the actors, everybody else, they've been doing for free. The majority of this one, we have so far a product is worth almost like $10 million, but we spend a little bit less than $1 million. Mm-hmm. We ask for another 1,100,000, but people spend 10 20 to even 30 million just for advertising.
Right.
And the recent movie, they come out with Caprini, Sound of Freedom. They spend hundreds thousand dollars. So it's we are trying to do because we want to make sure that we are not going to spend money that are not for the film. There are many people that they do a movie and they start to put it. They pay themselves as if they were Spielberg and stuff. This is this movie is for the audience. It's for making sure that we have a final product that match perfectly what the Bible say. We don't want to take any liberty, anything, because and try to hopefully to use the same format the Chosen have to do a pay for it, because we want this to be available to everybody. But when you start to having some investors who say, I got to put money, then they wanted money for it. Then now you cannot anymore offer a pay for it. I think that's probably why they chosen to break it apart for the company that they were partnered with, because they want to try to have it. Look at it, and I love Dallas. I think is such an honorable man to say, no, we want to give it to the people. This is not about the money; it's about that one. Other people then they're going to have it if we do properly. And that's such an honorable thing, and that's why I respect Dallas so much. Sometimes you see more Catholics to people that are not Catholics than not Catholics than they're supposed to act in Catholics.
Right. So I think it's really important to say that obviously films take a lot of money to make. We here at Fresh Catholic in particular really support anything but mainstream film. I don't know, that's so mean to say, but I just feel like we have enough of these, there's so many films out there now they're against family, they're against family values, they're against God, they promote things that are very dangerously sinful, and they call it entertainment. And there is, again, I'm saying it again, there is an audience for this type of film. And there are people out there that want to support this. And if you just sit by and you don't help out and you don't donate, things like Angelo's film or even our podcast, anything that we're trying to get out the good word of the Lord and build up the kingdom, as I call it, if you can support those things, then it's going to slowly but surely push out all this mainstream negativity. And what it's doing is it's dividing our country and our world. Stories like this, good books, other podcasts, anything that's drawing people to the Lord is worth supporting. And even if you give a small amount, it all adds up. Then you're a part of something good. This is why, I really discourage people from funding movies even if you just go to a movie, you're funding that movie. Yeah. And you're making it like what, into something that, do you really want to spend your money on something like that? Or do you want to spend your money on something that's worthwhile and that's going to possibly convert people's hearts, possibly draw more people to the Lord? This is how we're doing it in this day and age. Indeed. We live in a very quick thing. It's like people don't want to sit down and read a book. They don't want to do these different things. But movies is still a thing that people like to go to. Absolutely. And I know when faith-based movies come out, they're usually not put in all the theaters. Yeah. They're usually put in select theaters. You can't find things as easily. But I know there's a large group of people when a movie like this comes out, they're like, are y'all going to it? Because oh my gosh, it's like 1 out of 100 is that's probably not even true. It's probably 1 out of 1,000 because movies are coming out like every single day practically.
If you go to a loft from Paramount or Warner Brothers, every month they have, I think, 36 or 60 loft, and they're making every month there's a new movie, a new stuff. That's why there's so many features and right. That they need it. And
it's too many.
Yeah.
It's too many.
But to what you say is something really is so truthful. It's when why, for example, the pornography, there's such a huge explosion of pornography is because people even watching the pictures, they can lead to that kind of things, create a database of a request, and that's they keep in providing it. When the best way is to fasting is to don't look any kind of that kind of stuff, but look something that is holy, right? So by doing that, you start to increasing, but we are all guilty for why one movie do well another one. I mean, the Sound of Freedom made more money than Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible.
Wait, what made more?
Sound of Freedom.
Oh, Sound of Freedom, right, with Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, finally people did this, and that's what helped those people to start to making more movie. Angel Studio, which the one that was partnering with Chosen, they were now to making more movie because they saw that there is a request for it. I mean, so that's what the people are supposed to do. I mean, you can't complaining about there is not enough good Christian Catholic film if after nobody's supporting it.
Right, exactly. We have to support it. That's the thing is, I know Simon and I, I've talked about this in other episodes. We were in the film business, but we turned away from the mainstream things, and Simon was, had to struggle with that. And I said, I just think we need to shift who we're aligning with. Yeah. I'm not saying let's get out of the business completely. He's a filmmaker. He's very gifted. He's a beautiful filmmaker. I'm not saying, pull the plug on your gift, but let's shift and align ourselves with these people who have like minds, who are wanting to make this very positive, uplifting, content. And so that we really do need to support these types of endeavors, this type of content. Again, anything would help at this point. And you have a goal.
Yes.
And I believe that anything you're doing, even like this or other people you're speaking to, I know you have the support of Carlo Acutis's mother.
Yeah.
So say something about that. I mean, tell everybody, for my listeners who don't know who Carlo Acutis is, please tell.
Okay. So really beautiful story. That one was, that was inspiring. What inspired this movie was what Carlo Acutis did. He's such a young kid that he understood the need, and there's something that was not done, sadly, from the church, that the exposition and explanation of what the Eucharist is. He collected at a young age all the documentation about all the Eucharistic miracles. And sadly, leukemia, he's suffering for a really bad things and up to die at a really young age.
How old was he when he died?
I think it was a teenager.
Oh wow!
I think it was 16. Yeah, don't quote me. I mean, I'm really bad with the numbers and names.
So not an adult yet.
No.
Oh wow!
He was really young. I mean, that's why it's so popular now with the young teens, because I mean, they see him, and I mean, they talk about that he was playing video games,
right?
Computer.
They identify with him.
Yeah. So this beautiful child, and her mother is a reflection of him, obviously, and his father too. I mean, really, really awesome people. What we try to do is try to finish what he started, and present it now as a film and make it like a way more well explained and more beautiful down there. That's why her mother she's such a supporting for what we're doing. So he did this one, and he had so many attacks, and we'll try to cover some part of the ceremony, because I mean, when you endeavor to do something like this one, anything Catholic, anything that truly is to helping people to get close to God, you're going to have some attacks.
Right, that's very true.
He had the 5 computers, one after another one, in fire.
Oh.
As he was writing for the Eucharist. Her mother buy a new one, and then as we started working, boom, fire.
Oh my gosh.
And we had so many accidents for this film that you couldn't not believe it. I mean, me going through some extremely sad family problems. but so many miracles too.
Mm.
I mean, one miracle was to get Carlo Acuti's mother. I mean, when you're asking me how that happened, was we said, okay, this is amazing what he did. They tried to contact her mother. Say, yeah, let's do it. Me, my partner, Ray Grijalba. Okay, let's do it. My family is really close. As my godfather was San Padre Pio, personal assistant. I don't know if we spoke with we spoke with person. Okay, so I forget sometimes if he's
That's okay.
in front of the camera, behind the camera. And so he said, okay, I know the Franciscan people. We just make a phone call. That's easy. That's it. Kid you not, for 6 months, I have everybody we knew try to reach out to him. Cricket. I said, okay, man, I give up. We just keep on doing this film without Carlo Acutis. My phone ring. I didn't have time to sit down there, and the phone ring. It was a message from one of my from one of my friends from childhood from Italy, which is not believer anymore. I say, hey, Angelo, I saw your film, your trailer, it's awesome. I showed to my uncle, which I know if you remember, he's a Franciscan. No, I don't remember. I say, he have a message for you. It's okay. The most longest message I ever received in my life. I was like, thank you for what you're doing. And I said, okay, I was thinking to stop and erase because it was so long. It was like, I drain you. And it's the same thing. So, I mean, I love what you do. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Okay, chill out. And at the very end, I said, okay, let me finish. He said, but I am a good friend of Carlo Acuti's mother. If I can put you in touch with her. I say, oh, sure, okay. And I call her, and she said, look, I didn't want to answer the phone call. So everybody called me to ask her for money or for relics and stuff. Nobody asking about Christ or how to get to know to him. But it's so hard to even believe it, what I'm saying now. Our Lord and his son appeared to her, and they tell her to responding, somebody's going to call because he's behind this film.
Oh, wow.
I got the goosebumps. I get every time I'm thinking about it because who am I? I mean, he said, yeah, I love you, God, but I mean, what? And she ended up to answer. She ended up to supporting us like she never did it. There's a video. She said she never asked money in her life, and she just asked money to support in this field. And we're trying the best, but that was one miracle. There's another miracle was finding the cross. I wish I can tell. I know this takes so much time, that overloading, but yeah, with so many beautiful miracles, but so much attacks. And I mean,
Well, and that happened in the Passion of the Christ as well.
Yeah.
They had, Jim Caviezel, God bless him, was struck by lightning, but then they had people converting during the filming.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of attacks too. That's what happens is Satan does not want anything good to happen. Yeah. So he will try to, like I say, he's a pot stirrer, he's the scatterer. He'll come in and he does not want goodness to prevail, but it's not up to him. Yeah. We just have to stay strong. We have to band together. We have to really support each other and just take these, these signs from God when he's like, help, opening the doors for us, or if the doors are closed, there's a reason, we just have to go with whatever the Lord wants. Yeah. But I just really encourage my listeners to help this movie to finish and be made so that it can get out there. So again, it can change people's lives. And also the more that I believe, the more that we, support these things, the more that will be made and the higher quality they will be. Yeah. Why should all the money be going to things that are just going to turn people away from the Lord, that are going to cause people to sin more or cause people's lives to just kind of go downhill? All this is uplifting. And this, again, in this modern day, this is how the word is getting out. back in Jesus's day, he was walking around himself, and people were coming to see him themselves. And then, it has to progress along as time goes along, but the stories are the same.
Yeah,
they are the same. They're real. They're life-changing. They're, so we just have to really support these things, So I know we're going to have a link in the show notes so that you can click on, we'll have the trailer so you can see that. We're just offering all kinds of things today here at Fresh Catholic. So you'll get to see the trailer. There will be a button to click to donate to this film. So please do that. Anything will help. And what would be another link? Is that what we're having? I don't know. I'm asking production here.
It's really simple. The new manna2n.com. And that all the information is there for donation, for see trailers, for see everything else.
Right. And I do think that it's very, the format you have with this is very intriguing. It's a really good way to show it, because I do think at least the movies I've seen, and nothing against them because I like it. Again, I like the visual. I love Passion of the Christ. But there's Jesus of Nazareth. You mentioned I watched it for the first time this last Christmas. Okay. And so I love things like that. Yeah. And they're all made very differently. They all have their own way, but they are pretty much start to finish. I agree with you. I don't feel there's another film like this in the way that you're doing it, showing modern day, like a cynic's view of it, and showing, like, proving it. I just think that's a really fascinating, compelling way to teach about these things that we need to know about.
Yeah, and God said to don't add and remove. And many of these films, for how beautiful they are, there's a lot of adding and removing. And I truly believe that, if you have a gift of telling the story, be director. And I worked to the biggest feature films from Disney, Marvel movie. Most of my life I spent working for them. You can tell that story. You don't need to inventing stuff. There are so many beautiful visuals that, nobody's done it. People that watch the John 6 they say, how did he come up with this? They say, that's pretty much the things that you see that we didn't add nothing, but it's just a visual that, can illustrate that specific things. So there is the things, but you have to keep in serious, taking the scriptures seriously.
Right.
And then let people decide what to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think is important.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. Like you say, you don't want to beat people over the head with things, but I think the more that we, separate from the film, the more that we just live our lives as Catholics and we mean what we say. And I'm Catholic 24/7, 365. I don't dodge off and, like, some days I'm Catholic and some days I'm not. I'm Catholic all the time and I love it. And I want everybody to be Catholic, like I said, but I don't go beat people over the head with it. You can listen to my podcast or don't listen to it. I have people who aren't Catholic listen to it. I have people who are Protestant who listen to it. I welcome everybody because something is going to click. And I think, showing the cynical side, showing the scientific evidence of things, it's going to chip away in a good way. It's going to chip away, and it's going to, people are really looking for something. All these lost people, all these lost sheep who are trying to fill their life with something else. And we always say, everybody has this piece of the puzzle missing if they don't have Christ in it. And they need to put that puzzle piece into their heart and into their soul. And it's things like this that will help them to do that. It can't hurt. Yeah. That's for sure.
Sure. And I think, you're right. I think if we really want to be Catholic, which Catholic means universal Christian, so we are Christian Catholic, we have to grow to charity. And making this movie, I've been through some of the most heartbroken things I've ever experienced in my life. I never heard nobody experience. And there are more days I'm crying than smiling. And there are crosses, they are far above what I could even believe I could do it. I mean, sometimes you think about it, the saints, each person, God gives some crosses as heavy, and sometimes it's so much heavy, but different from them. And I've started to appreciating even the Protestant, I mean, because some of them, like I saw these clips about Justin Bieber. I don't know if people know
Right.
this.
Justin Bieber, yeah.
Fighting with the paparazzi because they were trying to come to what he considered the church. And if I saw that one 5 years ago, I would laugh and say, "That's not the church. That's a movie concept. It's a concept. That's not a church." But I started to see after this scandal happened, people are broken. People are seriously broken, and they are there, and God is trying to helping them to walk in closer, and that church might help him. That's not the church. It's not the full Christ there, but God can use even something bad to make it good, the holy. So we have to learn to be more charitable to people, and I said to me that they are walking too. You probably you'll not be as strong as when you were on your 20s.
Right.
How much I learned about theology in these past 10 years. I look at myself, I'll be ashamed for work. But each of us have some brokenness. And each of us have to walk in their pace. That's why this movie was done for them, to make them walk in their pace. We can't shovel, like we said before, all the faith, all this doctrine and stuff. They will not get it.
Right.
They cannot get it. They gotta be led that God is loving God, but it's a just God.
Right.
And if He say there is no life in you, let them see it through His own mouth, with the actor, to the reenactment and stuff. And then they're going to go to loving the Eucharist
Right.
by seeing how everybody has left. This is the goal for our film. When you start to see 1,000 people leaving, the goal is to make it say, I am not going to leave.
Right.
I am going to adoration right now because I left Him alone for all these years. For Toshina say, if there was an exhibit with the last lily, there would be hundreds of people do a line up. But Jesus there in the Eucharist, in adoration, and there is no line up. So this movie is like to try to really show without forcing, say, this is what happened that day. This is the closest way. Nobody in 2,000 years has been making a film to be able to show this reenactment for what happened that day. And would you be that person living to Christ? After He did so many miracles to you, you're going to see people that were miracles. Those people, they were so joyful, they were calling Him a king. Those same people decide to leave. Do you want to leave too? He turned to the apostles. Everybody they left.
And then when He says, "Are you leaving me too?" and Simon Peter says, "Lord, where will we go?"
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. I get very emotional about this too, because now that I'm Catholic and I just love the Lord so much, I can't imagine my day without Him. It's like food and water and air to me.
Yeah.
You know, receiving the Eucharist, it's so valuable to me and life-giving. And I feel the same way. It's like, how can you not want to go and drop everything and go anytime you can? You know, especially I love adoration. I love to go be, where I feel very alone with Him, very up close with Him. And it's such an invaluable gift. Yeah. And, I feel the same way. It just, I'm hoping, like you're saying, that this film will help people to understand more about what it is, that we don't take this lightly. This isn't a symbol. Yeah. It's not just a little cracker. It's very important. It's like they don't seem to grasp why we feel the way we do, and they just discount it. And so again, I think that this is so valuable. I hope my listeners will help support this.
Yeah.
And I hope you have huge success in this. I want a ticket to the premiere.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just going to shamelessly ask
No,
now.
you definitely. Anybody that help us, I think this probably is going to be the only movie that whoever help us is like a crisis. Say you're going to be paid back 10 times more. Right? We cannot give nothing now, but I promise you, anybody that help, they're going to get way more that they would never be able to get anywhere else place.
Right.
Some people, some famous exorcists, they saw what I've been going through, and they said, Angelo, most likely, when you finish this movie, all things are going to come back to normal. You have a choice. Will you stop this film and be able to go normal, or you're keeping going? I cannot look Christ and say, I'm sorry, my own life is better than yours. I sit down here and see you discouraging. The God that would bring me back to my faith. There was a period of time I stepped out. I would start to get more on the secular world. A friend of mine told me, Angelo, you are an ass. I said, oh, thank you, man. I love you too. I said, why? He said, you understand that God is outside time and space? And I never heard that things before. I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Say, because he died for all our sin, past, present, and future. We are culpable right now to hurting him in the cross, or to help him to lift the cross like Simon did. And it's like, can I lift the cross with you? Or should I be like everybody else and say, no, I'm not going to help him? I mean, it's tough because you're going to face him. And when you are going to be free from earthly things, you're going to be wishing you'd never been born if you didn't help him. I mean, see, the person that loves you the most, you walk away from it. How dare you are? I mean, how can you watch yourself in the mirror?
Right.
I mean, I barely be able to pay my bills. But what another walking into another Marvel movie, what's going to do to me?
Right.
I can die tomorrow. I can have a heart attack as soon as I step outside of here. What I did, I just accumulating movie credits and left him in beat. Christ allowed these crosses, and they are horrible. And sometimes I can't even breathe. But same things that I hired. It's a funny story. I hired this actor for play Jesus, and the Carabout's mother said that he is the one that looked like the most for all the people options they had to Christ. That's why she said to pick him. But I picked him too because I said, okay, Jen Cambiso got struck for a lightning, and the cross was too heavy. Things and other they tried to make it so cross. I said, this guy is a massive, he's a big beast. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, Angelo, he was on fire for Jesus Christ. I said, okay, Angelo, strike me. I mean, he's got to do nothing to me. I mean, he's a super well-trained guy. But Christ gave not the lightning, but gave so many huge cross to him too. They are, for him too, are unbearable. As it was from Jen Cambiso, unbearable that things.
Right.
The cross he had to carry on was 10 times more heavy than the one that Jen Cambiso did. There was actually real cross. It was like we found out of nowhere. We were thinking to don't film it, to postpone the crucifixion for the very end of the movie because the cross was costing so much money, and we didn't have the budget for it. And a friend of mine last minute invited me to go to his house because his house was a rotten. It was very messy. They just bought it. It was a property. We found, I can show you the picture and you can show to your audience if you want. 3 perfectly trained rail, wood, all rusted to down there. Perfect size in length, and 3 short, perfect size down there for the side of the cross. 3. No 1, no 6, 3. And we were thinking to quitting, but those are heavy.
Yeah.
those one are so heavy. And even this guy's a super bodybuilding stuff. I mean, that was heavy for him too.
Right.
Seeing how Christ's crosses are, we cannot think, okay, let's do it. We're ready. I mean, I'm ready. I mean, it's like, I study theology. It's nothing going to affect me, things and other. But the devil attacks, and the God allowed, for whatever reason,
Right.
to carry on some different crosses.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's, I hopefully that you guys can carry on a little cross with us and help us to give it to the Lord. And I mean, the most beautiful representation of his life here on earth.
Well, I think that's a beautiful spot to end on.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to say that
No,
we haven't covered?
Thank you.
I think that was beautiful. I really encourage you to support Angelo's film, the new Manna, and stay tuned for that trailer at the end. Tell all your friends, and I can't wait to see it on the big screen.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for coming today. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. Now go out and be a bright light in someone's life. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh. Fresh Catholic is produced, edited, and recorded in Ventura, California.